Welcome to the show. I forget what episode it is. It's either 5 or 6 or maybe 4. I don't know. It's been a while since we've done a Plan Feed episode. I'm sorry. It's just been a busy August. But we are back, and I thought since we're back, I'd change up the location a little. We're outside. I'm on my porch right now. I guess it's not really obvious that I'm outside, but I am. You might be able to hear some birds chirping. It's very noisy this time of year in New Jersey. You got cicadas all over the place, grasshoppers, crickets, those kind of noisy little buggers. But it's okay. We're gonna have a good time out here. And look, we got some plants in the background. Actual plants. Can you believe that? The show's called Plant Feed. Haven't seen a plant yet. It's a ripoff, if you ask me. So I got you. I was looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, just going to be a chill episode today. Just going to talk about a few things. Have some fun. Enjoy nature. Enjoy life. No fruit tier list today. I'm switching it up. I'm doing something else today. Next episode, we'll get back to some fruits. And that is not just because I ate all of my cantaloupe and didn't save any for the podcast. That's not why. Okay. Yeah. I just, thought it'd be nice. It is beautiful out here. I mean, New Jersey is a beautiful state. The weather, when it's bad, it's bad. But when it's good, it is really good. Especially recently in New Jersey, we've had some beautiful weeks. I mean, recently it's gotten pretty hot these last few days, but before that, I mean, we were having windows open, doors open. It was great. Yeah, I mean, it was so cool. It was like fall weather outside. It definitely feels like summer now, high 80s, low 90s, but even still, it's nice. You get some shade, and it's beautiful. And you can podcast outside. I wonder how this audio is going to sound. I bet it's going to sound awful, but it's okay. That's always what I've said, like New Jersey isn't perfect. You'll get like a week where it's all rain and then like one day where it's like 30 and windy and you're like, what am I doing here? But when you get a spring or you get a summer, few weeks in the summer, big bug, like we have this year, I mean, it just brings you back. It just brings you back on New Jersey's side. And people disrespect New Jersey a lot, but it's a great state, and I think that's one of the reasons. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is a beautiful day outside. I just love every so often just coming outside and just appreciating everything, because we live in this big, weird, wild world, and I think we move so fast that we can't appreciate it. I mean, I've been busy all month. I've been moving and shaking, doing things, preparing for school and, for just everything that's going to come in the fall, working, trying to not be absolutely broke once September comes and I can't have a job anymore because of school. My boss doesn't really give me a lot of shifts, but that's that's a whole nother thing. So it's been a long summer. It's been a long August, especially. I literally, like, at least once or twice a week, every week, I've been like, okay, I want to sit down. I want to do an episode of the show. And I've just had something that's just come up, or I've had to do something, or I've had to go somewhere, and it's just like, well, maybe next time. Did any of that come through on the mic? It looks so low. Yeah, it's just been so busy. Which has sucked. But ultimately, it gave me the opportunity to come out here, appreciate nature, appreciate life, and yeah, that's cool. So ultimately, I think the wait was worth it. Just like that new JID record. Oh, y'all aren't on JID. You got to get on JID. That record is so good. That's a nice record to, like, take a walk to. Like Cody Blue 31. Oh, just go in the forest, go in the park, just have a walk, appreciate the world, sun shining, birds chirping. You hear that angelic JID chorus. Whew. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Yeah. My head's been in a thousand places, and that's kind of how it is, because it feels weird if it's still August and yet I'm just 9 days out from school, last year of high school, and that's weird. That feels weird, but it still feels so far away, which I think is funny. And I guess that's always the feeling, but given that it's my last year of high school, I think it feels different. It seems different than it usually does, even if it's not different at all. Yeah, it's just wild. It is just wild. But yeah, that's just my little ramble there. Why don't I introduce you to some of the plants back here? I mean, gosh. They're not looking too good right now. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, jeez. But we're gonna do it. I got it up here. I got the stick up here. Let's take a little look-see. Okay, we've got a pepper plant here. His leaves don't look too great, but I mean, I can't see if it's focusing. I don't know. But we got another pepper plant here. You can barely see it. It's not as big. Let me hold this. Let me bring this up a little bit here, maybe. You can see that in all of its glory, this tomato plant. This tomato plant's coming along. It took it a second, but it is coming along. And as you can see, it's looking nice. And then I've got a little pumpkin plant here that, yeah, it took him a second. It actually isn't looking that great on the ground right now. It took him a second to get going, but he's got a flower now, as you can see. So he's doing well. And then these are really the two stars of our show over here. Our two other pumpkin plants. Let me see if I can get over here. Yeah. These are the stars of the show right here. This is one. It's big. I gotta stand up. Whoa. He's quite big. You can see he's got a lot of sprouts going. The tendrils are tendriling. He's got some flowers. And then this guy, different color. I wonder if it's like a different pumpkin plant. I think that was the idea with the seeds I bought. They're supposed to be like different kinds. It definitely does look like a different plant. Like, it doesn't look like the same plant, even though it came from the same seed packet. So there's that. Let me try to put this back. I was growing stuff in my backyard too, but that kind of ended. But I had really good luck with the zucchinis this year. I had like 30 zucchinis from my 2 or 3 plants I had. It was insane. Way too many zucchinis. I don't really like zucchini, so that was the wrong thing to plant, but it worked really well. I had a few pumpkins. That was nice, and they should last till October, so cool stuff. What else did I have? I had some peas, some cucumbers, some flowers that were just kind of there for decoration. So yeah, it's been a fun little year for the garden. I've been doing this for a few years now. I'm not the best at it for sure. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has this story, but it was kind of something I did on a whim before COVID. It actually started right before COVID started. Because we were growing plants in my science class and I liked it. I was like, oh, I should do this at home. So I bought some seeds at the little store down there, and I planted them and I grew them. And that was a nice little well-timed thing because the pandemic hit right as I started really growing the plants. So I had something to occupy myself. It wasn't just NBA 2K for those those dark months. I had plants too, which was nice. Even though I did a lot of NBA 2K as well. And then I've just kind of kept up with it, you know. Last year I did it, and then this year I did it, and then this is kind of the continuation of it because it got a little wild out there. Once the zucchini stopped, it kind of stopped going crazy, honestly. But you know, it's okay. It's still fun. I love just like planting stuff, and you know, this show's called Plant Feed. I really haven't stuck to that. It's just really a podcast at this point. But I thought it was worth it to show some plants, you know, because why not? I mean, you gotta show some plants. I don't want y'all to feel like you're ripped off. The best you guys get plants wise are the fruits of some plants that I then eat. I'd be like, why is this guy not showing any plants? So there's that. There is that. Excuse me. Eey. My throat is killing me right now. Again, the allergies, the seasonal allergies are coming back right now. I hate it. It's awful. The one bad thing about spring and summer and all that is the sore throats and the congested noses that come with it. I don't know if it's noticeable, but I am a little stuffy today too. It's not great. As you can see, I'm annoyed right now. Literally, my throat was pretty fine all day, and now it's itchy. The second I want to record this, which is not annoying at all. That's totally fine. I'm opening a pack of gum right now. This is just terrific content. See if that helps my throat. The nose has been awful today. I've been so congested. Oh, my God. Yeah. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Yeah. I don't have anything else plant-wise to talk about, but we're talking about like life and stuff and peacefulness, and that reminds me of the Neutral Milk Hotel record. Oh, In the Airplane Over the Sea. I've been listening to that a lot. My Neutral Milk Hotel scrobbles this year are insane. I've like, I can't check because my phone's my camera. I have like 800 something scrobbles. In fact, this is kind of a chill pod. I'm just going to go on Last FM and see what I have. I need 48 scrobbles to get to 20,000. Pretty exciting. I've got 804 Neutral Milk Hotel scrobbles this year. Big stuff. Big stuff. Yeah. I just love In the Airplane Over the Sea. But their first record's really good too. What's it called? On Avery Island. Oh, the wind's coming. I just know that's going to screw something up. It's going to be like on the mic. Yeah, On Avery Island is good. Like, people say that's a bad album. They're like, it's not In the Airplane Over the Sea. No, you know, it's not. But it's a really good record. And they're the same, like Jeff Mangum, the same weird, wild writing and vocal inflections that make In the Airplane so great are on In Avery Island as well. You know, he's eccentric and he's weird and poetic. It's amazing. I just love Jeff Mangum. Anything with him, I'm just captivated by. I mean, In the Airplane's better though, obviously. That's a 10 record for me for sure. Yeah, for sure. As you can tell, I don't really have any. I don't have any like structure. I don't have any like things to go over on this episode. I'm just chilling. I'm just talking to you, because I wanted to get another episode out. It's been a while. Why don't we talk more about In the Aeroplane Over the Sea? Why not, If you want to stick around for that, you're welcome. You're welcome to. I mean, it's a record that, I listened to last year. Obviously, it's like a meme at this point, In the Airplane Over the Sea. People talk about it all the time. And I never tried it out until last year. Because recently I've been getting more into, the stuff that people talk about that I've never gotten to. So I tried out In the Airplane Over the Sea, and I just, immediately was blown away. It's one of those albums that you listen to and you're just stunned when you finish. My mouth was jaw to the floor when I first heard that record. And what's magical about it is, that feeling of magic never goes away. Every time I listen to the record, I've listened to it so many times. I think I have, over 500 plays of it or some crap. It's insane. But every single time, I just feel the same sense of magic that I did that first time listening to it. And that's really what's special about that album. I don't think I feel that about any other record. I have records that feel magical, I guess, but not to the level that In the Airplane Over the Sea does, right? Because it's got, those strings and those, a fuzzy synth every now and then, and those beautiful horns, and just the lo-fi instrumentation. It's just mind-blowing. I mean, and it is kind of it's Jeff Mangum too. It's his captivating voice and songwriting. I mean, it is kind of like some old-timey person telling you a story, that you would hear, on Disney or something. It's really just magical. I mean, King of Care Flowers Part 1, he's talking about, having fun with this girl or something he's with, and, her weird family, and, it just feels, dark and mysterious, and then you get into parts 2 and 3, and it's that dark and mysteriousness turns magical. It turns exciting as the instrumental takes a step up, and then you get into just magical and beautiful with the title track, In the Airplane Over the Sea. I mean, that track is just beautiful. I mean, I listen to that, I'm just always just immediately put into a good mood when I hear that track. And it's just terrific. Then you get to Two-Headed Boy. That track is awesome. The imagery on that track, I've said this to people before who don't care, because I don't know many people who listen to Neutral Milk Hotel, but Two-Headed Boy, the imagery on that song is just beautiful. The last verse, there's no reason to grieve. The world that you need is wrapped in gold silver sleeves, left beneath Christmas trees and snow, and I will take you and leave you alone, watching spirals of white softly flow over your eyelids, and all you did will wane to the point when you let go. So beautiful. That's the sense of magic that you get listening to that record, because it's just so provocative and mysterious. And that's something you get on that whole track. It's not just the last verse. And Jeff Mangum on that track, it's such a raw performance. Jeff Mangum almost screaming as he's playing that guitar, just emotively talking about, this two-headed boy, whether that be Anne Frank or whatever. That's kind of like the theory or whatever. And I mean, the imagery continues on a Holland 1945. This is turning into like a review. I don't know what this podcast is. Where you get I love the first verse. Like, the only girl I've ever loved was born with roses in her eyes, but then they buried her alive one evening, 1945, with just her sister at her side, and only weeks before the guns all came and rained on everyone. Now she's a little boy in Spain, playing pianos filled with flames on empty rings around the sun. I'll sing to say my dream has come. I mean, that's just beautiful. And this is really where, like, the Anne Frank thing gets strong, right? Because 1945, I mean, that's, like, right during, like, the whole Anne Frank thing, I think. And I really do like that angle for the record, too. I think that just makes it more magical. Like, just like the love and admiration that Jeff Mangum, whether or not he wants to admit it, it's pretty obvious he wrote this record about Anne Frank in part, and just the admiration and love he has for Anne Frank is like, some people might think it's a little weird. I just think it's so touching, just kind of the stuff he says about her, and you get that more on later tracks, but before "O Comely," which, oh my goodness, that is such a good song. You get "Communist Daughter," which is another one of those really, like, provocative songs from Jeff Mangum, talking about semen stains the mountaintops, and this isn't really related to the theming of the record, but it just is beautiful and mysterious, like the rest of the album is, with, like the sort of the waves crashing, that kind of sound in the background, and the horns going, and then how it leads in to what I think might be my favorite song ever, "O Comely." That song is incredible, and it is the most heavy-handed in the Anne Frank thing. I mean, lyrically, it really is two songs, right? The first part is about sexuality and adultery and all that stuff. It's I don't know if it's Jeff Mangum's story or Jeff Mangum's just telling a story of someone else, but, he starts the first verse, I think it is about someone's father, the whole song, just like cheating on his wife or whatever. The first verse, with some pretty bright and bubbly, terrible scene that was doing her thing on your chest. I mean, just like you hear so many songs about sex. But the way Jeff Mangum writes about sex is just it's so unique, and it's so provocative, and really in any other context, like, a song like this would probably be disgusting and just, like, gross to listen to. But the way Jeff Mangum does it just, like, straddles a line so perfectly. And, you get into the second verse, just, like, comparing, like, sex to, like, fruits. And, all of your friends are all letting you blow, bristling and ugly, bursting with fruits falling out from the holes of some pretty bright and bubbly friend. You could need to say comforting things in your ear, but oh comely, there isn't such one friend that you could find here. I mean, that is just, bursting with fruits falling out from the holes of some pretty and bright bubbly friend. Like, I am always so captivated by that verse. And then you get the chorus, which is just, is really what sold it for me. Like, I remember the first time I listened to this record. I remember exactly where I was. I was in my bedroom, and I was already captivated by, excuse me, I keep wiping my nose, so disgusting, I was so captivated by the song and the verses and the provocativeness and suggestiveness of the verses and how Mangum delivers the lines. And then he gets this chorus where he's like putting everything he has into the chorus. I mean, his voice nearly cracks on the chorus when he says, "For me," you know, I'm not even gonna try to like hit the note or whatever, but like when he does that "for me" part, I mean, it's like as high as he can go, all of his power into it. I remember just sitting in my bed, just stunned, just blown away by that hook. And then it goes right into this third verse. I mean, your father made fetuses with flesh-licking ladies while you and your mother were asleep in the trailer park. Thunderous sparks from the dark of the stadiums, the music and medicine you needed for comforting. So make all your fat, fleshy fingers to moving, and pluck all your silly strings, and bend all your notes for me. And soft, silly music is meaningful, magical. The movements were beautiful, all in your ovaries, all of them milking with green, fleshy flowers, while powerful pistons were sugary, sweet machines, smelling of semen all under the garden was all you were needing when you still believed in me. I mean, that is poetry, man. It's so beautiful. I mean, it's awful, right? It's adultery. It's, and I think the reason Jeff Mangum is so direct with the adultery and with like what's going on in the scene, besides the fact that he's just, that's just kind of his style, is that like, oh, we got someone driving through here. That's the magic of podcasting outside. You never know what you're gonna see. You got this guy driving. That's I think he makes it so disgusting and suggestive to just show how evil he thinks this is. You know, this father sneaking out at night while his kid and wife are asleep to cheat on his wife. I mean, it is just incredible. It is just amazing, the story that Jeff Mangum is able to tell here in such a powerful way. And then you get to the fourth verse in that. I think this is the most heavy-handed like Anne Frank stuff on the entire record. And I think one of the most heartbreaking lines on the entire record. I know they buried her body with others, her sister and mother and 500 families. And will she remember me 50 years later? I wish I could save her in some sort of time machine. You know, Jeff Mangum reading the Anne Frank diary, learning about Anne Frank. Let me make sure this is still recording. Okay. That looks bad. My phone has been weird. He's fascinated by it. He falls in love and admiration for Anne Frank, so much so that he wants to save her, that he wants to find a way to make things right, and he knows he can't because it was 50 years ago that Anne Frank, and more than 50 years now, that Anne Frank died. And it's like somehow in a song about adultery and like disgusting acts, that little moment in the middle of the song might be the most depressing, saddening, and haunting moment of it all. And I think that's just a testament to how good Jeff Mangum is. And I think the record ends fantastically too. You got Ghost, which is I think is sort of a way, it's kind of Jeff Mangum's celebration, because he realizes that you know, whether or not he's talking about a ghost haunting him or whatever, I don't know. But like, he realizes through this record he can share Anne Frank's story, and while he can't bring her back to life and save her, what he can do is keep her story alive through a record like this. And you know, maybe I'm just in the wrong pockets, but like, I feel like the Neutral Milk Hotel and In the Airplane Over the Sea discourse has caused more people to talk about Anne Frank than anything else over the last few decades. Like, I guess you learn about her in history class, but other than that, when do you hear people talking about Anne Frank besides when they're talking about In the Aeroplane? Like, you don't. So I think that's what Ghost is about. It's about Jeff Mangum realizing this is how I save Anne Frank, is by keeping her story alive. And that's beautiful. I mean, after such a depressing moment of him just being lost and being like, how do I go about my life knowing I can't save Anne Frank, to realizing he can in some sort of little way. And then we end on Two-Headed Boy Part 2, which is so depressing. Oh my goodness. I don't even... You just gotta listen to that one. It's just so depressing, so haunting. And I think it is sort of the conflicting feelings of Jeff Mangum being like I can keep Anne Frank's story alive, but I can't tell her how I feel. I can't bring her back to life and appreciate her and tell her how much I appreciate her and admire her. And that's sad. And it's really fascinating because, like, at its core, In the Airplane Over the Sea is a love album. It's an album about love, just in such a unique and different way. It's not about a relationship, right? But it's about love and, like, I don't know. Like, if I was to write an album about, like, Amelia Earhart or something, and, like, she got, like, lost at sea or whatever. I can't really remember. If I was to write a record about that and be like, I love Amelia Earhart, you know, I want to bring her back, like, it would probably come off as weird and corny. But Jeff Mangum is so good. He's such a good songwriter and such a good performer that he can make that scenario and that feeling so sincere and so emotional, you know? That shouldn't be a thing he can do, but it is. And that's why I love the record so much, on top of it being magical and sounding amazing and being so energetic and also only being like 39 minutes. Like, that's underrated. An album that can do all of that and make you feel all of that and not even take up an hour of your time. I mean, that is something that we need to appreciate about it more, in my opinion. Also, at the end of O Comely, you can hear one of the band members saying, "Holy shit!" because they're just so taken aback by Jeff Mangum's greatness. I think that's amazing. So that was my rant about In the Airplane Over the Sea. I didn't think that was what was going to happen today, but I just wanted to get that out. It's my favorite album of all time. I really do think it is. And O Comely is definitely my favorite song I've ever heard. So, yeah. I think that's all we're going to talk about today. It's been about 30 minutes. I think that's a pretty good length. I hope the next episode will come sooner than the gap we just had. I'm sorry. It's tough. I don't want it to be the case. It's just been busy. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and download our podcast on Apple and Spotify. Until next time, I love you all. We love you all. I don't know. Just go listen to In the Airplane Over the Sea and come back and tell me how much you cried when you listen to it, because it's beautiful. God. See you in the next one.